best. That's why we have her every Thursday. Talk a little real estate with us. Kathy Helbig from the Kathy Helbig Group.com. Good morning, Kathy Helbig.
Good morning, guys.
All right, misconceptions about why one should not buy a home.
Right. So a lot of times people have all these preconceived notions that they've heard over the years about buying. And the biggest one right now is that renting is cheaper than buying.
Oh, yeah.
And in actuality, if you do the numbers, although you may have to come to the table in the beginning with a little bit more money to buy, rent prices are at a premium right now. And you can still get into, housing pretty affordable. And with the interest rates, even though they're creeping up, they're still really low.
I'm sure there are times, but the general rule of thumb, it's always less expensive to buy a home than it is to rent.
Yes, and you're not throwing the money out the window. You're paying down.
Right.
You're paying down your mortgage.
You're paying somebody else's mortgage, or you're paying your mortgage.
Right. But a big thing that stops people is they think, I don't have 20% down.
Right.
And that's a big misconception because there are loan programs out there with as little as 3% down for first-time buyers. There's 100% for VA buyers and USDA. So there's all kinds of programs that can get people into houses for a lot less money down. The national average for first-time buyers of money down is 6%.
Oh.
So definitely don't think you can't. It's too unattainable. You can't buy a home unless you have a perfect credit score. There's some programs that will go as low as 580 and still get you, good rates and a nice program to get into a house. Another one is the list price is all I'm going to need. So when you are thinking about what am I looking for, you're looking at what I can afford at list prices. But you also are not always thinking about you have to come to the table with the closing costs, the prepaids, which are going to be the escrows and insurance and things like that up front. So in addition to the down payment, you typically have to have that as well. However, with a lot of homes, you can roll that part of it into the price of the house. So instead of asking the seller for $5,000 off the list price, you ask them to pay $5,000 towards your closing cost and prepaids.
Right.
That way you don't have to come out of pocket with that money.
So you're saying then, general rule of thumb, if you want to buy a $100,000 house, it's the 5% of the $100,000.
Correct.
Not, you don't have to worry about anything else.
If you can roll those closing costs into it, correct,
yeah.
yes. Another thing is, I don't need a real estate agent, I have the internet.
Oh.
Kelly Jackson. No. I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
I'm on your website right now.
I know you are, sweetheart. No, because people think, finding the house is the hardest part, and that's actually the easiest part.
Right.
So, yes, you can jump online and search for property. We actually encourage people to kind of start shopping and stuff there. Unfortunately, a lot of that information is not up to date, especially in this type of market. Houses are moving so quickly, and like the Zillows and the Trulias and the Realtor.coms, they're not updating fast enough. So you're picking these houses that have already been under contract for several days. And then another thing is once the house goes under contract, then it's everything that happens in the middle between under contract and closing is where all kinds of stuff can go awry. So that's really where the real estate agent's value comes in, is keeping everything in check and making sure that there's no fires popping up that's going to.
Well, also, too, the other one's using a real estate agent, and if you're going in blind.
Oh, my gosh, totally. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The lender with the lowest interest rate is always my best option, not necessarily too. Interest rates are sometimes offset by lower fees, or, there's just different pieces to that equation. So you need to make sure you're dealing with somebody reputable and, get a second opinion. And then you should put every last penny that you have down towards your down payment. That's never a good idea either, because you need to be preparing for things, maintenance items, things like that can happen to the house when you move in. So a lot of times,
doors. You have to have money for the barn doors and everything else.
You move in and the furnace goes out.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And I would think the biggest thing is you're just afraid. Oh my goodness, I'm buying a home and it's going to take me 30 years to pay off. There's a mental side of it too.
There is a mental side of it, and there's actually a program out right now that is new to St. Louis, where if somebody is trying to decide, well, maybe I'm not quite ready, maybe I'm undecided, or maybe they're going through a divorce and they can't buy a house right now, or they're relocating in, don't know where they want to live, this program will allow us to pick any house that's in their parameters on the market and do a lease to own with that house, but the company actually buys the house from the seller. and then makes a lease arrangement with the person that's undecided, and then they can have a buyout clause at any point in time up to the end of the 5-year lease. So it works out for a lot of people. It's pretty interesting.
All of that and more, Kathy Helbig can answer any and all of your questions. KathyHelbigGroup.com is the website, 314-276-SOLD. Good stuff. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys.